What's going on, you guys? Welcome to the Racy Podcast. This is your host, Cristopher Zamora. Welcome to the show. So today, guys, I want to speak to you about Gervonta Davis versus Frank Martin. What a fight. This was actually a really good fight. Like I said last week, I wasn't being biased against Frank Martin. Like, you can't really expect boxers that you do not know that they're going to give a good fight to the boxer that you want to win. Even though Frank Martin did lose against Gervonta Davis, he gave him one hell of a fight. I have to give him the very first 4 or 5 rounds to him. But then Gervonta Davis did his thing, and he was able to get a KO on him on round 8. Damn, that's insane. Round 8, that's where he got the KO against Frank Martin. Like I said, man, Frank Martin, they gave him a good fight. He was being defensive, but mostly he was playing offense most of the time. But I think once he felt that power of Gervonta Davis, that's when things went sideways for Frank Martin. This was a good fight, man. Really good one. Maybe even better than Rolly Romero versus Gervonta Davis. It was a good one. Now, where does Gervonta Davis go? Supposedly, he is going to fight Vasily Lomachenko next. But we don't know, man. We don't know if he's actually going to take that fight or not. It will be cool. It will be awesome to see, but does he really want to fight Lomachenko? Maybe so. Maybe he is, because now that Lomachenko is getting older, he thinks he has a chance against Lomachenko. And maybe he does. I think Loma is hitting around, 36 years old by now. And Gervonta, I think he's 29 right now. So yeah, that will be an amazing fight to actually see. But to be honest, for that fight, I don't know, man. I feel like Gervonta Davis is going to be able to read him, and he will be able to get the win against Lomachenko. I know it's too early to say, but I feel like that's gonna happen, man. There probably could be a stoppage around round 10 or 11 or so, man. Lomachenko is pretty good, man. He has the speed, the accuracy to beat anybody, but so has Gervonta Davis. And plus, he has that power too. The power punches might do the huge difference against Lomachenko. That will be probably the only reason why Gervonta Davis might win. He might get him with a clean hit, and that is why Lomachenko will actually go down. But we will see, man. We will see if that fight will ever happen or not. As of right now, at the time I'm recording this podcast, we do not know when they're going to fight each other. If they are going to fight each other. But yeah, dude, that's going to be an amazing fight. So now, guys, I want to move on to Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney. I talked to you guys before that Ryan Garcia did defeated Devin Haney on their fight. But the reason being, supposedly, it was because Ryan Garcia was on quote-unquote steroids. And that's why Devin Haney believes Ryan Garcia won against him. And the crazy part is, Devin Haney, he had 1 loss on his record. And now since he went to the commission, to the New York commission, he actually got his O back. He is now undefeated again. Really, Haney? People are not going to forget this, man. People are not going to forget that you got beaten. You got beaten by Ryan Garcia. Dude, that was a hell of a beating that you took against Ryan Garcia. People are going to look back 25 to 50 years from now and see you get beaten by Ryan Garcia. People will be wondering, what? This guy is not undefeated? This guy actually did had a loss on his record. Yeah, they actually made that fight now a no contest. That's some bullshit, man. That's some BS right there. And I even said the word, dude. And I don't usually curse. That's just, it's just so insane. But you cannot go, you cannot give Ryan Garcia a pass either. Like the recent, well, the supposedly the steroid that he took, his name is Ostarine. So I'm gonna read you guys like what that drug is about, because I just screenshotted the stuff that I researched, so I won't get the facts wrong. I'm not an expert, but I'm just gonna tell you what it is. So here it is. What is Ostarine? It builds muscle. Ostarine helps you grow muscles and keep them strong. That's why athletes and bodybuilders might use it. It also strengthens your bones. It makes your bones stronger, which can help prevent injuries. Burns fat. Some people say it helps them lose fat while gaining muscle. It also helps with recovery. It can help your muscles recover faster after exercise. So maybe Ryan Garcia thought of taking this because maybe he would just have an advantage against him. And it kind of did work. And look, here's what I found. Is Ostarine like steroids? It says right here, not exactly. Steroids are a different kind of drug that also help build muscle, but they can have more serious side effects. Ostarine is in a group of called SARMs, which aim to have fewer side effects than steroids. And one last question I ask, is Ostarine allowed in sports? No. Even though it's not a steroid, it's still banned in sports like boxing. This is because it gives athletes an unfair advantage. If a boxer uses Ostarine and gets caught, they can be punished and banned from competing. So even though Ostarine isn't as harmful as steroids, it's still considered cheating in sports. And that is what happened with Ryan Garcia. He actually did get banned for 1 year. He cannot box at all. He wants to get another win in his record. He has to wait a whole year. That 1 year probably can make a huge difference in Ryan Garcia's career. If he actually takes the sport serious and like actually trains almost every day, then he can become the best boxer that he can be. But like if he takes a whole year off and on his next fight he will have a lot of ring rust, he will probably might lose because he didn't took that 1 year off serious. But it'll be cool, man. It'll be cool if Ryan Garcia actually comes back and just KOs his opponent like in 2 rounds or so. We will see, man. We'll see what is going to happen with Ryan Garcia. And the crazy part is Devin Haney as well. He's going to take a year or 2 off. That's what he said like in his Twitter. I don't know why, but I always get like his stuff recommended to me. Even though I don't follow Devin Haney. I follow Ryan Garcia, but not Devin Haney. He said that he's going to take about 1 or 2 years off now that he's undefeated. And he was celebrating and stuff. Yeah, just celebrate your win, man, for now. But I don't think you're not going to stay undefeated for the rest of your career. Because that fight, man, I feel like he couldn't do much. He couldn't really do much against Ryan Garcia. Even though he was on steroids, they still found a way to beat them. Like, the guy that Anthony Joshua just defeated, well, it was actually last year. It was Robert Helenius. This guy supposedly was on steroids. They actually found out that he has steroids on his system, like right after the fight. And yes, he did lose the fight, but he wasn't telling the commission that he wanted his loss out of his record. Not like Haney. And Anthony Joshua did win that fight. There's another example. Margarito versus Miguel Cotto. Margarito, he had cement on his gloves. That's fucking dangerous. He had cement on his gloves and he defeated Cotto around the 11th round back then. You didn't see Miguel Cotto talking shit about that, about Margarito, that he wanted his loss out of his record. Instead, what he did, he faced him like a man on a rematch. And guess what happened? Miguel Cotto defeated him fair and square. This time, Margarito did not use cement on his gloves, and Cotto won the fight fair and square. If Devin Haney did came out saying that, yes, he understands that Ryan Garcia did use steroids, he accepted his defeat against him, people would have been actually respectful to Devin Haney. But no, instead, he kept on whining and whining that he just wanted his loss out of his record. And supposedly, there are rumors going on that he has actually lost already before. He lost like in Mexico, and people are saying that he had already had one loss on his record. But then like they paid the judges to take out that one out of his record so he can keep that O. Devin Haney wants to beat Mayweather so badly, man. I don't know, man. I get it, man. Like, I understand Mayweather just somewhat changed the boxing landscape because he is undefeated and he had 50 wins on his record. But, like, that's not what boxing is about, man. It's not about staying undefeated. Yes, that's awesome on your record, but, like, the main purpose of boxing is that you face to face the best of the best. No matter if you win or lose. That's what happened. Like the people that we know of, like Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, all of these guys, they have at least one loss on the record because they had face to face the best of the best in their generation. Floyd Mayweather did face the best of the best in his generation, but like most of the guys that he faced, they were already like past their prime, or some of them they didn't even start their prime yet. Canelo was one of them. If Prime Canelo did face Floyd Mayweather right now, yeah, that would be a good fight. And probably Mayweather would have lost that fight. But yeah, Devin Haney, dude, just that one loss he couldn't take. And so he got his undefeated record again. Good job. Good job. Whatever, man. Just whatever. But I can't wait to see Ryan Garcia again. It's going to be like over a year, man. We're going to see this guy again. And let's see who he's going to face to face again. I don't even think I want to see a Devin Haney fight ever again, dude, because of that. Because of that one thing. That's just sad. That's just wow. Now, speaking of sports, guys, now I want to speak to you about horror stuff. Now I'm just switching the podcast a bit. If you guys are not interested in horror stuff, hopefully you come back next week, or you could just stay here and just listen to me talk about horror stuff. Because I actually do talk about horror stuff, but I just wanted to start with combat sports on this podcast today. So now, let's just talk about horror stuff. The first thing I want to talk about is this new spin-off movie. It's in the Megan universe. Have you guys seen that movie? The one that came out last year with that creepy doll? So now it says right here, a Megan spin-off titled Soulmate will release on January the 2nd, 2026 in theaters. The film follows a man who acquires an android to cope with the loss of his recently deceased wife. Wow. So we're actually going to get robots and a male person patty caking, you know. Wow, we're actually going to get that on film probably. We have seen that before in Detroit Become Human. Like it's a video game that came out like years back in 2018 or so. It's a PlayStation exclusive, I remember. And now we're really going to see that on a movie. Like we have seen like just like filmmakers like hinting that they're going to keep on making films like this, like futuristic type of films between like robots having sex with humans. They have been hinting that for years, and because of this AI stuff that keeps on continuing over and over again, that the media pushes, now they're going to make even more films about this. So that's a huge step for cinema, I guess. But since it's in the Megan universe, I'll be interested on seeing it. Hopefully, it is actually scary. And now another thing I want to talk to you about is The Last of Us. They say right here that they're going to try to stretch out The Last of Us TV show to at least 4 seasons. I think that's actually somewhat of a good idea. But like 2 seasons for the second game, I think that's enough. 3 seasons, that's kind of pushing in. Because like The Last of Us Part 2, it did had a lot of more characters, and I feel like there's a lot more story that it can be told. But I don't know if people will be interested in seeing more of it after what they're going to find out what's going to happen on the second season. For me, guys, The Last of Us Part 2, the video game, yes, it is based off a video game. I did not really enjoy that game because of the story. Yes, the story was, to me, it was trash, but the gameplay was awesome. But like the storyline, it just wasn't for me for the second game. The original is just such a classic by now, and it is one of my favorite games ever created. But just the second game, it did ruin it kind of for me. Like I was one of those people that hated the second game, man. The story wasn't there, but the gameplay, it was awesome. And last but not least, there's a new trailer out for Smile 2. I bet you guys did not see that coming. Smile 2. There's actually going to be a Smile 2. Have you guys seen that first movie? Dude, I remember watching that first movie and shit, it still creeps me out. It still creeps me out to this day. Like that one scene when the girl, she was looking at the hallway, right? And she saw like something coming toward her. It was the girl that she was imagining. She was smiling at her, and then she turned over so she can go to bed and not look at the person. And then you just heard like a huge scream on the next scene, dude. What a crazy movie. I actually did enjoy that movie. But this one, Smile 2, the same curse is following now a pop star. Like in the first movie, there was a girl that actually saw somebody get murdered right in front of her. Same thing happens with this pop star. She saw one of her friends or colleague actually get murdered just by killing themselves. Like they were smiling and they just, kill themselves just like that. Now the curse is stuck on her, and also because she's a pop star and she's like fans everywhere, she's gonna see everybody smiling at her, very creepy. And oh man, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to actually see what they come up with this storyline. I think it's gonna be interesting because even in the trailer, man, the trailer, it does give out like good parts. And let's see what they come up with for this movie. It's gonna be insane, dude. I could tell you by now, it's gonna be a good one. I feel like it is gonna be a good one, or I could be wrong, but I feel like this movie is gonna be good. It's gonna be an awesome movie, awesome horror movie. And yeah, guys, that is it for this podcast. Hey, thank you so much for listening. If you guys did made it this far, make sure to actually follow this podcast on whichever platform you are listening to it. If you are listening to it on Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, make sure to follow it. And also recommend this podcast to a friend or a neighbor that actually likes listening to stuff about combat sports or horror things. Maybe they will enjoy this podcast as much as you do. And yeah, guys, that is it for this podcast. Again, thank you so much for listening. Take care and live to the fullest. Bye.